All right, it is 1 p.m. here on my clock, so I'm going to get started. My name is Eleanor Dhuyvetter. I'm a meteorologist here at the National Weather Service office in Gaylord, Michigan, and we're going to go over just what's happening this afternoon. We're going to do a little brief overview of what's been happening, and we'll take a look into the future to see midweek and into the weekend what we can expect. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, or at the end, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. All right, so a review of the recent trends. We've been cold. I know everybody's kind of felt the cold, especially lately, but we've been cold and we've had lake effect snow for most of January so far. And that is evident in some of these different from average maps that we can see. So you can see with the average temperature, we've been near or definitely below normal, especially with some of the data we'll get in today. In some of the spots that we've been near zero for a departure from the average, we've been below normal. For the last 7 days of precipitation, though, you can see we kind of have a split in our northwest area of northern lower near the tip of the Mitt and some of the Lake Michigan shoreline. We definitely have seen near or above average conditions for our precipitation. However, for northeast lower, it's not been as plentiful because we've just had a lot of lake effect snow. And so that's not as widespread, and northeast lower has been missing out for the season so far. And that is going to be evident as well as we look at the last 7 days of accumulated precip. You can see that gradient there where our northwest lower and eastern upper are really getting some good lake effect snow, but northeast lower is kind of missing out. So but it has been pretty cold across the board. So that is what our January has been looking like. For our seasonal snowfall and current snow depth, again, that kind of deficit for northeast lower is apparent in our current snow depth with anywhere from an inch barely to a few, and then you go to Gaylord and west and we've got 12 inches on the ground right now. For our how we're doing for the season, looking at the percent of normal, a lot of places that do reside in that northwest lower kind of area are just about or a little bit above normal for their snowfall this year. You can see that in some of the 100% for percent of normal, and even above. Sault Ste. Marie is 173% of normal. But Alpena and West Branch are, of course, on the lower end. So again, we do have that gradient just because we've been continuing this train of lake effect snow so far. So going into what's happening now and then what we'll see on Wednesday, we're going to start with this afternoon and tonight. And we do have the bitter cold wind chills that are occurring right now. I've just checked some of the observations, and we're seeing anywhere from -10 to as low as -18 to 20 in some areas for those wind chill values. So it's cold out there. We are seeing some accumulating snow and low visibilities with some of these bands. Our winds are basically west, so the focus has been kind of near the tip of the mitt. And so we have been getting reports of some accidents or just some hazardous travel, cars off the side of the road for I-75, kind of in Sheboygan County there. So it's going to continue through the afternoon and into the night. We do expect an additional 1 to 4 inches across northwest lower Michigan due to this lake effect snow. We could see some locally higher amounts still with those bands focusing a little bit east of Little Traverse Bay. We've got strong gusty winds of 15 to 25 miles an hour, so that that snow is going to continue to blow and drift. And then for the timing of all of this, again, it's happening now and it's going to continue into the evening. Now with this snow that we've been seeing though, it has been cold. So you can see our snowflake size has been pretty small, and that's been really contributing to a lot of our lower visibilities that we've been seeing under these heavier bands. We're still getting accumulations on the roads, but with some of the lake effect, we'd expect way more rapid accumulations, double the amounts that you see there. But that's just not the case with some of these or smaller snowflakes due to really cold temperatures. However, that is going to change as we head into Wednesday. So here's a temperature forecast, and you can see I believe that is 6 hours, every 6 hours there. We are going to start to warm up with our temperatures going into Wednesday, and that's going to kind of change some of the snow consistency. We're going to start to get those bigger flakes back going into Wednesday for some of those snow chances. Our winds are going to shift southwest, but just to point out here quick before we move on, you can see we return to kind of some normalcy for our temperatures going into later Wednesday and Thursday, and we kind of stay there throughout the weekend and into early next week. So our colder temperatures, we're going to see them again tonight, but we're looking ahead at more normal stuff as we move forward into the end of the week here. So the snow on Wednesday, we do have high confidence for around 6 inches or more near US 2, and then some of the counties around northern Lake Michigan. So Manistee, Benzie, Leelanau, for some of the highest accumulations there. We are going to have gusty southwest winds with this next round of snow, and that's going to be 20 to 30 miles that we could see, or miles per hour that we could see. So continuing some of the patchy blowing and drifting snow and some of those really quick drops in visibility, some of the areas that could be the most sensitive to this are going to be along US 2 in Mackinac County there. We do have some concerns about for Wednesday kind of mid-morning to late morning through definitely the afternoon hours and evening for some of those lake effect enhanced bands to kind of set up there and drop some good snow and really reduce visibilities and blow that around so that hazard could be pretty difficult over there. For again, the temperatures are going to warm up, so we have a little bit more ideal, a little bit better of an environment to produce those larger flakes, so those snow accumulations can happen a little bit quicker as we go into Wednesday morning and through the day with the snow that does form. But we'll be sending out more information. We're going to update our DSS packet. We'll be sending out more to you guys later this afternoon on that. Again, just to highlight the breezy and gusty winds for tomorrow, we still have these gusts kind of lingering, and we really don't see that much of a break, maybe a little bit tonight briefly, but then as our winds turn south and southwest, those gusts start to ramp up again, and we see 20 to 30 miles an hour for most areas as they spread from the west to the east. And we get those south winds to kind of build in throughout the day on Wednesday. It looks like the strongest gusts are going to be kind of around midday into the afternoon hours for Wednesday. And then we'll start to see some of that calm down going into Wednesday night and Thursday. Winds will turn west and then northwest, and we'll see some tapering off in the snow going into Thursday. Just to hit super quick too, we do have wind chill values that are going to be a little bit on the colder side as we kind of warm up. So we hold on to those winds that are going to be a little bit gusty. Our temperatures will slightly warm, but our wind chills still stay in the single digits here as we go into Wednesday and then Thursday. So that is just an important note we wanted to kind of include in here, is that although we do warm up, we still have those gusty winds that are going to lead to negative wind chill temperatures on Wednesday and single digits going into the end of the week. So it's still going to feel cold because we don't let go of some of those strongest wind gusts. To throw it all together, here is a winter impacts timing graphic that kind of highlights for some select cities when some of the worst winter impacts are going to be, really with driving as well, some of the hazardous travel. So we still, as you can see, we still expect some whiteout conditions as we go into Wednesday with that second round of snow for some of these areas, especially if you're along the Lake Michigan coast and Mackinac County, kind of in that north part of Lake Michigan. Snowflake size is going to change throughout this time too, so they're small right now. They're really producing some low visibilities with the bands that we're currently seeing this afternoon and tonight, but as we head into Wednesday, the snowflakes are going to grow a little bit bigger in size, and we're going to get those quicker accumulations, and the gusty winds will still continue some of these whiteout conditions and lower visibilities. So to move a little bit more into the future, a little bit longer term outlook here. 6 to 10 day, we're looking at near normal for our temperatures. And that was kind of highlighted in the temperature graph that I showed earlier. But for precipitation, we're going to be near normal as well. So nothing super significant in the forecast from what we can see for the long term at this time. And that's highlighted here with the longer range hazard potential as well. Northern Michigan kind of stays away from some of the sketched out areas in these charts. With our Great Lakes water temperatures, we have been warmer than average, and we still continue to be warmer than average, as you can see by this purple line here. However, we are seeing a pretty decent jump in ice coverage. And, we've had some gusty winds to keep some of the ice broken up, but with these recent shots of colder air, and some of the continued lake effect snow from this, we're really going to start to see some of this spike. And that's what we've been seeing here in this graph. So we'll continue to see some of that ice coverage increase, especially as we move on into the end of January here. And one more thing before we kind of wrap up that I wanted to hint at, we've been noticing at the office, some of our river sites, our gauges along the rivers, especially Manistee and Ausable, have been showing hints of ice damming. We haven't seen anything to alert anyone yet as far as significant rises to get to like the action stages or something to really show flooding impacts, but we do want to let you guys know that we're keeping an eye on this, we're watching it, and we are starting to see some of those hints of ice damming beginning on some of our rivers here. So to wrap it up, we have lake effect snow continuing this afternoon and tonight. The hazardous travel will continue for some of those localized areas due to those lower visibilities and the snow accumulations on roads. Wind chill values remain low as we keep our colder temperatures tonight. -15 to -20 will continue tonight, and overnight lows forecasted for -5 to -15. Heavy snow returns Wednesday. Gusty southwest winds will bring that back. And the main focus is going to be kind of that west to central Mackinac County area along US 2, as well as some other spots along northern Lake Michigan shores. We're going to see slightly warmer temps with this second round, so that'll lead to larger flakes, allowing for those quicker accumulations. And the highest amounts that we're forecasting at this time are going to be around 6 to 10. And we'll, again, send more information out with an updated packet and everything so you guys can have more info with that. But the gusty winds tomorrow will definitely continue the threat of lower visibilities and the blowing and drifting snow along US 2 especially. So brief lake effect snow showers Wednesday night as the winds turn west. However, a little break for snow on Friday, and possibly more snow chances this weekend, but at this time it doesn't look like anything super significant. So with that, I will stop presenting here, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask away.